Hey everyone, I thought I would do a voiceover for the footage in the background. So what we are currently looking at is two different major augments or traits. One of them is elemental weaving, which allows us to continuously cast different abilities, which we do, and increases the effectiveness. Then we have increased chance to proc, along with some damage nodes, which will all eventually kind of be min-maxed to weapon efficiency, and then a ton of haste. The goal is a haste stacker, pretty much. We have the helmet, which basically does double proc, and then we have aftershock, which can activate on both our first cast and our double proc. The weapon itself is basically a 2 times multiplier for our damage, which is nice. Then obviously we have 2 different health potions in case we need it, feathered potions which don't do anything, and then our incantation, which it basically sorry, it's my dog. It basically gives a free slot for a free 4-socket slot for all of our novas. This, we don't really care too much about what's on here, but basically I have refresh chance, basically increased dot, more pierce, explosion on Hinge, kind of AoE'd. Then black hole for our damaging nova with a bunch of cooldown. Currently I don't have enough size for this one as they're not leveled, so I just currently have damage on there. You're looking for kind of like 6 to 8 seconds for the cooldowns, but you want both of these novas to be the same. Craterus is the most important, the other augment is not. Mostly just cooldown, once again 7.4. Once you get cooldown low enough with high enough rated cooldown traits, you want to start adding AoE to both of them. Next we just have our third, our healing and cooldown reset. Just a bunch of cooldown and AoE. Just to have that on right now, it's kind of just a simple thing to make sure that we're topped up and we're sustaining, and making sure we're cooling down our other abilities as a refresh. For targeted, transmission is massive. That is one of the main ways that we're dealing damage continuously. And then also smite, which allows us to proc this ability. As you can see, I also have the empowered slots on emission and smite. That is the biggest things. And then the rest we just have base damage, making sure that we're amping up that damage as much as possible. As you can see, we're stacking haste. We have that going for us. Kind of just going through everything. I didn't show some of the character traits, which I'm going to show now, which is proc effectiveness. That is huge. That is a huge boost. And then spell weaving, which is good for mapping, but not for waves. So you don't need spell weaving for waves, but I have it on because I don't really have enough traits yet. This is kind of just a theory build. But as you can see, we're boosting modulating, which is end goal is just final effectiveness, weapon, and I believe proc. Those are the only 3 that we need and that we can stack. So I record this. I am currently on round 740, 750 around there. But I recorded this at round 200. As you can see, this early on, I'm very low level. I'm not super far in. I'm able to sustain and just kind of stand in one spot